You are probably grieving and you don't know it. A lot of things can cause grief that people don't think about, and because they don't identify it as grief, they don't know how to properly deal with the set of emotions that's coming to them because they don't actually know what it is. Grief is born when you lose someone or something that you love deeply, and a lot of people don't think about it outside of death, but there's a lot of ways that you can experience grief. So I'm going to share some things with you today that actually cause grief that you might not have ever thought about that way. Is losing a major friendship. When you have someone that's been in your life for a really long time, they've seen you through your highs and your lowest lows, and that friendship decimates, that's going to cause grief because you loved that person. You were vulnerable with that person. They were a massive part of who you are and who you were. And this one is controversial, and I've actually gotten a lot of messages about it before, but motherhood grief, because you knew who you were before you were a mom. I'm not saying that you regret becoming a mother, but you can lose your identity in motherhood, and then you're grieving who you were and you don't know who you are outside of being a mom. This is a similar concept as disability grief because you are grieving the life that you had when you were an able-bodied person, and then you're grieving the future that is not what you thought it was going to be because you don't have those abilities anymore. Also, while living in the present grief of dealing with the battle of your body. Career grief. When you love your job and you're passionate about your job and then something happens, you're unexpectedly fired, the company shuts down, you have to move for some family reason, and then you lose that thing that you love, that thing you were passionate about. That can cause a deep, pain inside of you because you saw yourself in that career for a long time. One that is very common when you start healing and working on yourself is internal self-grief. When you were grieving the loss of the person and the time that you were, when you realized that you allowed people to treat you badly in circumstances where you really lost a version of yourself into pain, you are grieving that. You grieve what you could have been or what your life could look like if you had not allowed certain things to happen to you or maybe set different boundaries. Obviously, there's relationship grief. When you lose a relationship that was really special to you, say you thought this person was who you were going to marry, and there's a breakup. Breakups can cause a lot of grief because you are mourning your life with that person. You're mourning what you thought was going to be your forever, and it's not. And I often get messages that are like, this video really resonated with me, but it's not because I lost my mom, it's XYZW. And the thing about it is, I want people to know that my account is a safe space for grief. I don't say just parent grief. I don't say just, this type of grief. I have experienced so much grief in my life. I've experienced self-grief. I've experienced relationship grief. I've experienced friendship grief. I've experienced career grief. I mean, I've damn near experienced all of these except for motherhood grief. And I have navigated the grief of all of those experiences, and I'm still navigating them. And so when I say this is a page for changing the narrative about grief, I mean grief as a whole. I mean acknowledging that grief is an experience that everyone will have multiple times in their life in different reasons and different categories. And we have to acknowledge what grief is and what grief does so that we can work on grief. I hope this video makes you feel a little seen if maybe you feel like you feel grief, but it doesn't fall in the categories that people normally associate with grief. If you need help on your grief journey, well, you can follow me. My name is Kenya. I am chronically Kenya because I am chronically myself. I'm chronically ill. I'm chronically a baddie. I'm chronically grieving, and I'm here to be your chronically online grief bestie. I love you.